Hey everybody, Desert Guardian here, and today we're going to walk through the assembly and installation of Brownells' brand new Glock 19 long slide and barrel. Alright, the first part I'm going to install is the channel liner, which doesn't include a channel liner. As you can see, I've got it part of the way in because I stuck it in place and it just snapped right in. We do have to drive that in the rest of the way, so let me find a punch to get it started that fits in there. We'll give it a quick tap. It just works its way down in. Now let's see if I have... Sorry about that. My phone started ringing right in the middle of filming, so I had a little brief break there. But what I did was I tapped this down in, and you can see now you have your spring resistance of your striker spring, and it sits flush right like that. So we have the channel liner installed exactly how it's supposed to be. All right, next up, we'll put in some more parts. All right, so let's install the sights. Now the sights I'm going to put on, you've probably seen before. These are my tritium fiber optic True Glows that I've actually installed on several different Glocks. Really like them. They've got lots of life left in them, and I've always liked a little bit longer sight on a little bit longer slide. So now we've got something that's approximately the same length as a 17, which is what these came off of a while back. So what we're going to do is we're going to install the rear side. I've got the set screw backed all the way out. Now this is going to go in from the left. You see it slides until it gets about halfway in. Then I'm going to grab my brass punch and I'm going to gently tap it to the center. Not something that you have to force. See? So it looks like we are just a little hair right of center, so we'll give it a tap the other direction. I usually go back and forth about 6 or 7 times. This is always something that I can do and run by Ted's on the way home from work and have them give it a quick micro adjustment with the sight tool. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave that right there, and we're going to tighten down. Oops, it's the wrong Allen. Tighten down the set screw, which already has a liberal dose of Loctite on it. All right, so there's the rear sight. We'll do the front. Now the front, this little knob sits right in that hole right there. And what I always like to do with this is I like to put a little bit of Loctite on it before I put it in there, because that will hold the screw in place if you're pretty careful. Which, you know, generally I'm going to drop it 5 or 6 times. Everybody will get a laugh out of it. As you can see, the dust cover is a little bit longer on this guy. So I have to do this a little bit differently, and they put a little hole in the dust cover to make it convenient to put your little front sight installation tool. And of course, there's nothing super convenient about a front sight installation tool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this upright right here. Try not to knock it over. Get this back in my hand. I'm going to hold this like this. So, oops, good, didn't fall. So I'm going to go right through here and kind of do the backwards gravity thing. Get that started. It's already got Loctite in the hole. Tighten that down. So you can see what I did there. I held it like this and held the sight in place. So gravity was working for me. A lot of people try to do it this way, and they'll just drop that that front sight screw 7 or 8 times, which, you know, I've done several times. So, all right. So we have the sights on. Okay, now it's time to load up the slide with all of its internal parts. And, you know, that consists of your striker. And of course, I've got the assembled striker assembly here, you know, with the spring and spring cups already on it. I'm sure you've seen some of my videos where I've launched the spring cups across the room a few times. So, you know, I figured I'd start ahead of the curve this time. We've also got our extractor, depressor, plunger, and spring-loaded bearing. Now this spring-loaded bearing is, falling all over the place, is the one for the loaded chamber indicator for the extractor. So here's the extractor, and this is the LCI version. So it's got the little bump right here that you can feel with your finger. Comes in 2 versions from Glock, either with or without the loaded chamber indicator. This one just happens to be the LCI version. And of course, we'll put in the recoil spring assembly and the barrel. Now, I wanted to kind of bring a little attention to this barrel also. This is Brownells barrel that is specially made for their slide. So it's a 17 length barrel, but it's designed for the recoil spring assembly of a 19. So it's got this extra dust cover housing here, and the 19, let's see if I can do it so you can actually see it, recoil spring, instead of going all the way to the end of a 17, it stops right here because you're running a 19 size frame to go with a 17 length slide. So it uses the smaller recoil spring assembly. Because of that and whatever other reason they thought they needed to, they changed a little bit about where the recoil spring assembly attaches here. This is another barrel from a 19, and all the geometry is off just a little bit. They specifically made it for their slide. So you can't run a standard 17 barrel in the long slide Brownells slide. They have barrels that are meant for it. So, all right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the extractor in. So the extractor goes in right here. So we're just real easy. We're just going to drop that guy in, and the loaded chamber indicator goes towards the front. Now this is held in by the firing pin safety and spring, which is that little guy right there. So we're going to drop that in and push it in with the thumb, and it will actually lock that extractor in place. They hold each other in. So that guy's in. Next up, we're going to put in the extractor depressor plunger. You know, if that's not a long enough word. So we're going to take that guy. We're going to put the extractor depressor plunger spring on the end of it and snap in the spring-loaded bearing. Pop that guy in. And this guy drops right in the small hole on the end here. So we're going to drop that guy in. It's going to sit in there. Next up, we'll take the striker pin assembly. So we've got our striker spring, the spring cups. We already covered why I put this together so I wouldn't have to chase them across the room a bunch of times. The channel liner's already in, so this guy just slips in and all the way down. Next up, we'll put on the back plate. Quick and easy. Grab it, push down on the back of the striker assembly. Use your thumb. Slide it into place if your thumb is sharp enough. And then I use my little Glock assembly tool. Where is that? There it is. To depress the spring-loaded bearing on the end of the extractor depressor plunger. Push that guy down in, and let me make sure I've got it in. Woo! Almost sent that flying. I'll just make sure this guy snaps into place, and it should snap in with a snap like that. So now your back plate is in. So now you've got your firing internals all in, your firing pin safety is in, and next up, about the easiest part of the install, we'll drop the barrel in and put in the captive recoil spring and guide rod. There we go. And there we go. There is the fully assembled Glock 19 long slide upper with a window. All right, so let's see here. I've got, okay, there we go. So here is my original Polymer 80 project gun. So we'll go ahead and clear that. Pop the slide off. Set that aside. And we'll put the new long slide assembly right onto it. So this one, I ran a standard 19 slide on it with a threaded barrel, and it came out to about the end of the Inforce APL that I've got here. And you can see with the LS, with the long slide, it sticks out a little bit further, but it gives a bit more length to the barrel. This is what a lot of people have been asking for. It's like, hey, why would you go, a lot of people are cutting down 17s to make a 17 size barrel with a 19 frame. And then of course the 19X came out, and everybody, not everybody, but a few people complained and said, well, gosh, I'd rather have a longer slide and a shorter grip. So Brownells answered the call. They came out with this, their long slide, and it is absolutely beautiful. Great fit and finish. They beveled the edges on it. You do have your front serrations. It is a very clean, very classy looking slide. And yeah, very attractive. Here, we'll put a thread protector on that. Always got to keep the threads protected. So there you have it. That is the Brownells Glock 19 LS slide, the LS standing for long slide. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about it, feel free to leave a comment below, man. I'd love to answer any questions. I can't wait to get this out to the range and really try it out. I'd like to do some back-to-back of this versus the Glock 19X, because you're going both directions. We're going longer here or longer here. It just comes down to taste. What do you like? What do you like to carry? What are you trying to accomplish in your shooting fun? So, there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. You do what you like. You do what works for you. Practice like heck and become awesome at it. That's what shooting's all about. So, like I said, questions, comments, concerns, leave them below. I'm going to put links in below in the description section and tell you exactly where to go if you want to buy one of these, or check them out for yourself and look at the different options. Yeah, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the assembly and a good look at the Brownells 19 long slide. Desert Guardian out.